The Springboks may have uncovered another special talent, and if the latest praise from some of South Africa's greatest rugby minds is anything to go by, the future of the famous green and gold jersey looks brighter than ever. At just 23 years of age, Paul de Villiers has gone from a standout performer in domestic rugby to one of the most talked about new faces in international rugby, and his remarkable rise has captured the attention of fans, former legends, and even comparisons with one of the greatest All Blacks flankers of all time. After delivering another impressive display against Scotland, the young flanker is now earning recognition that very few players receive so early in their Test careers, proving that Rassie Erasmus' bold commitment to developing new talent continues to pay dividends. Paul de Villiers first caught the attention of selectors after an outstanding season with the Stormers, where his relentless work rate, physicality, and rugby intelligence made him impossible to ignore. His reward came with a call-up to the senior Springbok squad, and although his first appearance came in an unofficial outing against the Barbarians, it didn't take long before circumstances handed him an even bigger opportunity. When captain Siya Kolisi was ruled out ahead of the clash against England at Ellis Park, de Villiers stepped into the starting lineup for his full international debut. Rather than looking overwhelmed by the occasion, he embraced the challenge with remarkable composure, delivering a performance that suggested he belonged at the highest level. 1 week later against Scotland in Pretoria, he retained the famous number 6 jersey despite playing in a youthful Springbok side packed with inexperienced internationals. With 12 players in the matchday squad holding fewer than 10 Test caps, there were questions about whether the team could maintain South Africa's usual intensity. Instead, the younger generation answered emphatically, producing an exciting performance that highlighted the depth being built under Rassie Erasmus. Among all the emerging stars, however, it was Paul de Villiers who once again stood out. His relentless defensive effort, intelligent support lines, and willingness to carry into heavy traffic impressed not only supporters but also some of the country's greatest former players. Springbok legend Schalk Burger, one of the finest flankers ever to wear the green and gold, was full of admiration when discussing the rookie's performances on the verdict alongside fellow Springbok great Jean de Villiers. Having won the Rugby World Cup, a British and Irish Lions series, and the prestigious World Rugby Player of the Year award during his own legendary career, Burger's praise carries enormous weight. Asked which inexperienced player had impressed him most against Scotland, Burger immediately singled out Paul de Villiers. He described the young forward as unreal again, and highlighted qualities that often go unnoticed on the statistics sheet. While the youngster may not always receive rewards for his work over the ball at the breakdown, Burger emphasized that his overall contribution extends far beyond turnovers. His physical commitment, tireless energy, and especially his ability with ball in hand make him a unique weapon in South Africa's evolving game plan. According to Burger, the way de Villiers carried the ball against Scotland demonstrated a level of confidence and skill rarely seen in someone with so little international experience. That glowing assessment was echoed by former Springbok hooker and respected SuperSport commentator Hanyani Shimange, who offered perhaps the biggest compliment of all. Watching Paul de Villiers in open play reminded Shimange of legendary All Blacks flanker Josh Kronfeld, widely regarded as one of New Zealand's greatest back row players. It is not a comparison made lightly. Shimange explained that what stood out most was the maturity in the young Springboks game and, in particular, his exceptional link play. Rather than simply making tackles or competing at the breakdown, de Villiers consistently supported attacking movements, anticipated line breaks, and made smart decisions with the ball in hand. Shimange recalled how Josh Kronfeld was famous for breaking through defensive lines before calmly finding support runners, and he believes the young South African possesses similar instincts. For a player still taking his first steps in Test rugby, such comparisons underline just how highly experienced observers already rate his potential. Unsurprisingly, Rassie Erasmus has rewarded those performances by naming Paul de Villiers in the starting lineup once again for the upcoming clash against Wales in Durban. Another opportunity now awaits the rising star to further cement his place in one of the most competitive squads in world rugby. Yet de Villiers was not the only emerging Springbok to earn praise following the Scotland victory. Schalk Burger also highlighted Lock Cobus Wies, the younger brother of Springbok number 8 Jasper Wies. After making his Test debut last season and then spending time out of the national setup, Cobus Wies returned against Scotland to earn only his third international cap. According to Burger, the Bulls forward looked completely comfortable at Test level, bringing physicality, energy, and impressive work around the field. His performance reinforced the growing belief that South Africa's second row remains one of the deepest positions in international rugby. Together, the emergence of players like Paul de Villiers and Cobus Wies reflects the long-term vision that Rassie Erasmus has consistently spoken about. Rather than relying solely on established stars, the Springboks continue to build a squad capable of competing at the highest level for years to come. Every opportunity given to a young player strengthens the overall depth of the national team, and performances like these suggest that the next generation is more than ready to carry South Africa forward. For supporters, the excitement is easy to understand. When respected figures like Schalkberger and Hanyani Shimange compare a rookie to legends of the game and praise his maturity after only a handful of appearances, expectations naturally rise. But if Paul de Villiers continues to develop at this remarkable pace, those expectations may soon become reality.
The excitement surrounding Paul de Villiers continues to grow with every passing week, and what began as a promising domestic season has quickly evolved into one of the most compelling stories in South African rugby. Few players make such an immediate impact after entering the Springboks environment, but the 23-year-old flanker has done exactly that. From the moment he pulled on the green and gold jersey, he has played with the confidence of a seasoned international rather than a newcomer still finding his feet. That confidence has not come from flashy moments alone but from consistently making the right decisions under pressure, working tirelessly off the ball, and embracing the physical demands of Test rugby without hesitation. It is this complete package that has convinced many former players and analysts that the Springboks have unearthed another special talent capable of becoming a cornerstone of the national team for years to come. One of the most impressive aspects of Paul de Villiers' rapid rise has been the speed with which he has earned the trust of Rassie Erasmus. The Springboks coach is renowned for demanding exceptionally high standards from every player in his squad. Selection is never based solely on potential or reputation. It is earned through performances, discipline, adaptability, and an ability to execute the team's game plan under immense pressure. For a player with virtually no Test experience to receive consecutive starts in such a competitive environment says everything about the confidence the coaching staff already has in him. Every training session, every review meeting, and every opportunity on the field has only strengthened the belief that de Villiers belongs at this level. His journey has also highlighted the effectiveness of South Africa's development pathway. As a former junior Springboks captain, Paul de Villiers had already demonstrated leadership qualities before reaching the senior team. Captaining a national age group side brings responsibility far beyond individual performance. It requires communication, composure, and the ability to inspire teammates during difficult moments. Those qualities are now becoming increasingly visible in his performances for the senior Springboks. Even while surrounded by experienced World Cup winners, he plays with maturity beyond his years, never appearing intimidated by the occasion or the opposition. Against England, his first official Test start came under difficult circumstances following the withdrawal of captain Siya Kolisi. Replacing one of World Rugby's most influential leaders is never an easy task, especially for a debutant. Yet Paul de Villiers refused to let the occasion overwhelm him. Instead, he focused on doing the basics exceptionally well, making his tackles, competing at the breakdown, supporting attacking movements, and maintaining the relentless work rate expected from a Springbok loose forward. It was a performance that immediately earned respect inside the squad and among supporters watching around the world. If his display against England announced his arrival, then his performance against Scotland confirmed it was no fluke. The Springboks fielded a relatively inexperienced side, with several players still establishing themselves at international level. Many wondered whether the lack of experience would affect South Africa's rhythm and physical dominance. Instead, the younger generation embraced the challenge with remarkable confidence, and Paul de Villiers once again found himself at the heart of everything positive the Springboks produced. Throughout the contest, he seemed to appear wherever he was needed most. When Scotland threatened with quick ball, he was there to slow the attack. When South Africa needed momentum, he carried aggressively into contact. When teammates broke through the defensive line, he was already in support, ready to continue the attack. These are qualities that cannot always be measured through statistics, yet they often separate very good players from exceptional ones. Coaches value players who consistently make the right decisions, and de Villiers has already shown that instinctive understanding of the game. That understanding is exactly what impressed Springbok legend Sjoerd Burger. Speaking after the Scotland victory, Burger emphasized that while turnovers often attract headlines, the young flanker's influence extends much further. He praised his movement around the field, his timing, and particularly his ball-carrying ability. Modern international rugby demands loose forwards who can contribute in every aspect of the game rather than specializing in one area, and Burger believes Paul de Villiers possesses that complete skill set. The praise became even more significant when former Springbok hooker Hanyani Shimange compared the youngster to legendary All Blacks flanker Josh Kronfeld. During his career, Kronfeld became famous for combining relentless defensive work with exceptional attacking awareness. He was never content simply making tackles or winning turnovers. He constantly looked to keep attacks alive through intelligent support running and accurate passing. According to Shimange, Paul de Villiers displays many of those same characteristics. His ability to read developing attacks, position himself perfectly, and link effectively with teammates gives South Africa another attacking dimension that opponents must now prepare for. Receiving such comparisons so early in a career inevitably brings increased expectations, but those who know Paul de Villiers best believe his personality is ideally suited to handling the growing attention. Coaches have consistently praised his professionalism, willingness to learn, and commitment to constant improvement. Rather than becoming distracted by praise, he has continued focusing on the small details that make elite players successful over many years. His latest selection against Wales is another opportunity to prove that his outstanding start is only the beginning. Wales will undoubtedly study his performances against England and Scotland, looking for ways to limit his influence around the breakdown and in open play. Yet every test match presents new challenges, and continuing to perform against teams that are actively targeting him will be another important step in his development. The emergence of Paul de Villiers also reflects the remarkable squad-building philosophy implemented by Rassie Erasmus.